about another 20-win season. I think it's the first time since '92 that you guys were able to do that. It's a pretty awesome accomplishment for those guys, and we're not even through mid-February yet.
Yeah, we've had some success. It's exciting, most exciting for these four seniors that they were able to finish their senior year, finish their career as part of something a bit bigger than themselves that they can always talk about for the rest of their lives. I was part of this, and hopefully it's part of the start of something. Hopefully we can continue on, having similar type success year in and year out. But obviously we want to take that next step here real soon.
Coach, this week you get some rest that I'm sure your guys have been looking forward to for a while. What's it like to have this week for a little bit more rest?
Well, I think it'll really sink in probably this time tomorrow. Because our guys were off yesterday, they'll be off today. Normally, we're preparing for practice right now, and we're butting heads here in about an hour from now, and this will be 2 consecutive days away from us and away from each other for the first time all year, and probably the only time. So I'm sure our guys, when we come out and get ready to work tomorrow, will have. I think hopefully they will have missed the game a little bit, and they'll be really ready to work and get after it.
What's your main concern about these 2 days away?
I really don't have a concern, honestly, Tim. I feel good about it. I think our guys need it really bad. Physically, that's the obvious, but mentally, it may be more important just to get away from it. College basketball season is so long. It's a marathon, and we're sitting here, for this stretch run. This gives us it's perfect timing for us. I expect to have a couple really good practices here at the end of this week and play with a bunch of energy against Rice at home in front of our fans. It's needed, and it comes at a nice time.
What does Rice bring to the table against you guys on Saturday? They've played some games really close lately that maybe some people didn't expect.
Yeah.
What do they bring to the table?
They had some issues with their roster last year and really had some bad fortune, and Coach Braun's held it together. He's coached about 1 million games. He does a great job. They're very sound. They make you shoot from the perimeter. I think they lead the league in defensive rebounding percentage, so they defend their glass really well. I want to say they're second in our league in threes attempted and maybe threes made as well, so they really stretch your defense. And they're a skilled team as well, so we'll have to come up with have to play with a bunch of energy and effort defensively for our pressure to be productive.
With 4 of the final 6 games on the road, does that kind of prepare you a little bit more for the tournament than having 4 of 6 at home?
I hadn't thought about it. I'd rather have 4 of 6 at home. I'd rather have 6 of 6 at home. But yeah, it can only help. We finish. I guess we finished with 4 of our last 5 on the road. Mm-hmm. First things first. Hopefully we have some success. And we can finish strong. And if we have success on the road, that experience should help us leading into El Paso.
Are you looking forward to more of a fast start, I guess? You don't have to play from behind again like you had the past 2 games?
Yeah, we hope so. I've had a couple guys here in town say, your team looks a little fatigued. This week hopefully will help you. It's funny hearing what other people think, and I don't want to take anything away from the 2 teams that we just played. We played 2 good teams. Tulsa was really good. I thought North Texas was really ready to play against us. First 20 minutes, they were really good, in their own right. But again, you'd hope that we'd have a little more pep in our step, have a little more bounce to us, a little better body language Saturday when we tip it up.
When you talk about this break this week, Kaiser probably had his best game Saturday in the second half that he's had in a while.
Yeah.
Do you have a concern for a guy like him that really is clicking right now, that he's going to have to rest and maybe revert?
No. I like that we don't play for a few days so he can't get in foul trouble this week. That's the biggest thing with him. He played better because he got more minutes and more opportunity. He was able to not be by us, but be out there on the court.
There's so many different versions of the big head. Is there one that you enjoy the most? The captain's the best?
I hate all of them.
There's some fierce ones.
Honestly, those are pretty funny. Yeah, those are pretty funny. The mugs on the T-shirts, it was like the Twilight Zone a little bit. And I'm working on it. I'm not very creative, but I will get my brother back. We'll figure it out somehow.
Did you see
but the big heads are funny.
The guy under the hoop with the big head and doing all the distracting
I was
things?
told about it. I wish I could. If anyone's got a video of it.
So would you,
Holler at me.
Would you
Oh, no, these
prefer a
guys.
big head night instead of a t-shirt night? Just everyone with big heads waving them around?
I'm good with I guess avoiding all of it next year. What do you think, Rob? Just avoid all of it.
You probably thought that Thursday they would be gone, and Saturday almost
Here
all
they
the
go.
big heads came
I know.
back.
I saw Brian collecting them after what was it, the Tulsa game? Yeah. So I figured they'd be brought out again here real soon. Unfortunately.
When you go on the road, though, you could actually take one home and then have Sean Payton do your job and leave it for your kids overlooking them, kind of. Just ideas.
We'll take one. We'll take one home. Use it as a dartboard.
Now that we have the opportunity to speak to a D1 coach here, the Marcus Smart situation. What's your assessment of that? You know, the
Wow.
whole
Segue.
gamut thing.
Curveball.
Nice segue there. Coming at the big head and the t-shirts. Time to come in with a high tight one here. How do you handle that? Do you think it was handled properly by the
Whoa.
conference? And
Oh man, I have no idea. I'd hate to speak for the conference.
have you ever
Obviously,
seen anything like that?
no, I can't remember anything like that. Marcus, he needs to be. There has to be a punishment. You know, I'm not sure how severe the punishment should be. It's a first-class organization there. I'm sure they put a lot of thought into it. I guess the thoughts for the kid are that the young man. First of all, he's a tremendous player, and the scrutiny he's under is ridiculous. You know, and I can't imagine the day goes by where he doesn't second guess everything. You know, from starting last spring with his decisions. So you hate it for Marcus, and you don't know no one knows what was said or what was not said or what have you. It's things are going to be said on the road in hostile environments, and our guys, everyone's guys, just need to have maturity and I guess they need to understand that the full picture, the ramifications and consequences of all their actions.
It seems like basketball players in general have to have a little bit more thick skin from fan reaction because
I think
fans
so.
can see you and they're all right on top of you. You think it's?
I think so, and I heard an interview the other day on TV. I can't remember. Was it Desmond Mason? Maybe. I don't know if y'all heard it. A phone interview, former Oklahoma State player, but he made a good point in defense of Marcus and all college players. It just seems like you don't see as much of the crazy talk in the stands in the NBA game. You know, you don't see as much of the I guess overserved bored fans that get a little too personal with young men, with 18, 19-year-olds. You'd wish that could be cleaned up somehow. I don't know how you do it. You feel for these guys who, it's not like they're getting paid $10 million and they need to listen to, and they're having to listen to a little bit of heckling. These guys are going to class all day and they're emotionally not as mature as grown men.
Back to the first question originally. I know 20 is cool, back-to-back 20, but, I mean, do you look at maybe like 25 as a next goal you might want to accomplish? I mean, the thing we talked about earlier in the season, you mentioned St. Mary's. I don't know if it was 20 or 25.
That's right.
But they've established that. I mean, is that something that you might look to as like when you go into like next season or something or anything like that?
I'm not sure. It might be a minor goal of ours. Our immediate goal right now is to get to 21, of course. And the wins are nice, and we the amount of wins, the numbers, being ranked last season was cool. Getting votes this season, where we are in some of the NCAA statistics are pretty neat in terms of turnover margin and steals and how many threes Keon hits, how many assists Speedy gets. Those are all neat things, but and again, the regular season championship, we'd like to have a shot at that this year. We need a little help, obviously, and we got to take care of what we can control. But the next step is the NCAA tournament. I would trade 20 wins in a heartbeat. I'd let you forfeit 8 of our wins. I'd take 12 wins right now if you told me we could trade it for the tournament. We just want to go to the tournament. We know we got to continue to improve, and we do think right now that there are 2 avenues. If we can finish really strong and get some help, we may have a shot of getting in without having to win it all in El Paso. But we know that'll be avenue number 2.
Since you mentioned that, I know you've made an effort to schedule tougher,
Yeah.
but the RPI, because of the way teams played out,
Yeah.
it didn't match up. I guess if you can discuss how that's difficult trying to project, you think you might be scheduling, but then teams don't
Sure.
pan out and they lose a lot.
Yeah. Good question. I bet there's 4 or 5 teams, and I should have been more prepared for it, but there's 4 or 5 teams that we thought would have had better seasons, and I don't want to mention any names, but I mean you could do the math on it and the homework, and every time we play, especially on Saturdays, you're checking those box scores all night and seeing who won and who played well and what have you. But it just seems like we've had some misfortune recently. We just talked about Marcus Smart. Oklahoma State's another team that, we're rooting for them to win every game. You're rooting for Oklahoma, and you're rooting for all of our, the Sun Belt opponents, Southwind opponents, or what have you. And it doesn't always work out. We wish every team that was on our schedule would go undefeated from here on out, but it's not going to work that way. And then another factor that's hurt us a little bit is that we were instructed by the conference office not to play more than one non-Division I game, and that the committee, the tournament committee, really looks down upon playing more than one. And if we had played 2 or 3 and you substituted those additional 2 on top of Centenary for, say, 2 of our lowest RPI opponents, RPI would be, heck, it might be 15 spots higher. So it's another factor that goes into it. I mean, another positive for us as opposed to a lot of other mid-majors is we played 1 non-Division I. You'd think it would help us, but with the computers, it kills us.
This is the first time I think that I've heard you mention the NCAA tournament this early. And I think,
Yeah.
because we always ask you about it,
Yeah.
being on the bubble, do you think about that?
It's a bye week. We're bored.
Does that have something to do with just your confidence level in these guys, that they can handle that kind of?
Yeah, we're a veteran group, and I'm not sure if we're an NCAA tournament team. I'm confident in us in being able to compete with just about anybody in the country, but I know that a lot of it comes down to your resume, and a lot of it's going to come down to how we finish up. At this point in the year, I think it's about time to start looking at the opportunity in front of us, and give our guys some added incentive to break up the monotony of conference play and same practices day in and day out. Yeah, I think this group can handle it. Last year we were very hesitant to talk about it. Believe it or not, I mean, y'all believe it, but I think we're a better team than we were a year ago, and we were right there last year. If we had just gotten 1 or 2 of those late, maybe we would have snuck in. So we'll see. We'll see. We're close. We know we have some improvements to make, but it's right there in front of us if we can finish really strong.
Now that a few weeks have kind of passed from the initial, knee-jerk reaction of losing Appleby for an extended period of time, it really seems like Speedy Smith has kind of taken this team under his wing, man. I think, he had 17 points on Saturday or something, constantly getting double-digit or close to it, assist every game. He's really been, from the outsider's perspective, looked like on the court a real leader on the team.
Yeah, Speedy's been ridiculous. I think Saturday was the best game he's played as a Bulldog. He obviously stepped up and made shots at a different level, and he continues to get double-digit assists, it seems like, most nights now since Raheem's been out. But defensively, he was all over the floor as well, really got us going, had a couple big-time hustle plays in defensive transition, breaking up easy opportunities for North Texas. He was really good. I think the biggest thing for him, just as it's been for Jaron, is more minutes. You have Raheem Appleby in your lineup, who's arguably your best player, who plays less. Those are hard decisions to make, and it seems like on different nights we decide different ways. But you have a guy like Alex Hamilton. It's hard to take him out of the game. Keon McNeil is so crucial for us at times, and then you have Jaron Johnson. We all know what he's been able to do with more opportunity, and then Court Arias. You have a 4th-year senior who's been around the block and made big shots and in big games for us, and he's arguably our best defender. So it's both the positive and the negative of having a very deep backcourt.
With just last thing, going back to one of your previous thoughts, that so-called experts around the country say that Conference USA is a one-bid league,
Mhm.
meaning whoever wins conference tournament.
Yeah.
The way from hearing you talk, you think you might have a chance, or Southern Miss. What makes you believe that Conference USA can be a two-bid league?
Well, I just think a lot of it depends on how we finish up, and I'm not sure if there's a third team that would be in the mix or not.
I guess if
UTEP is very, very good, as we know. Just our numbers and looking at the stuff that Lenardi writes and projecting as well. KenPalm.com and Sagarin and Real Time RPI and all these sites that you can also, if you dig a little deep, and if you can project, if we play really well here and are able to win, and if we play really well here and are able to win, our number will continue to increase as well. And I don't know how you ignore those numbers for teams like us and Southern Miss if we don't get the automatic bid here in a month. Now, we have to beat Rice, and we have to get ready for that next one and continue to improve, or none of it will matter. But if we do, I think we'll be in the conversation for sure.
And one more follow-up. I appreciate your openness of talking about all this. Is it common for coaches to think like you and like check stuff? Is that just you, or you think a lot of coaches really pay attention to that?
I think most coaches pay very close attention to
They
it.
just don't admit it.
I'm not sure they want to talk about it a bunch. I tried to ignore it a bunch last year. I just think we're a different team, and if our guys at this point, if this team isn't thinking about the NCAA tournament every day, then I think we're wasting time because we're capable.
Last question from me, Coach Barnes. Of course, your college coach was on the other sideline Saturday. What was that like?
Coach Rob Evans.
Yeah, sorry.
Very close with Coach Evans. It was neat. We had the opportunity to compete when he was an assistant at Arkansas and I was at Ole Miss. So it wasn't the first time. It was the first time as a head coach getting a chance to compete against my mentor, while your team, I guess, has instilled in it a lot of what he instilled in me. And so I was anxious for him to, I guess, show off our team to him, to a certain extent. In a sense, I was excited for Coach Evans to see our team, and I knew we'd have to play well to beat North Texas, and we played well enough. And he was very complimentary, and of course we're very complimentary to the job that they do. I thought that they were really prepared and played well.